My brother-in-law installed tracking on my 16-year-old daughter's phone, and then he tried to box us in inside a mall parking garage, like we weren't people, just a family issue he had the right to solve with force. And the grossest part? Not that he did it. The grossest part was my husband calling me paranoid at first. Because if danger walks into your house with a smile, the words "we're family" and a pie for dessert, then it's not danger, right? It's just a rough patch. We lived in the suburbs outside Philadelphia, one of those neighborhoods with a starter home we bought for the future, a postage stamp yard, and a lawn that looked way too perfect for real life. The kind of street where neighbors smile the same smile and close their doors the same way. I'm Amanda. My husband is Rob. Our daughter is Emily. Emily used to be my talker. She'd walk into the kitchen and in 60 seconds flat, I'd get how Ms. Peterson mixed up names again, how the school hallway smelled like chlorine, how Jess, her best friend, was fighting with her boyfriend, how someone fell asleep face first in their notebook during history. All I had to do was nod, refill my coffee, and feel like I actually lived inside my kid's life. And then she went quiet. Not teenage quiet. Not "I'm mad at the universe" quiet. Different. Her silence got heavy, dense, the kind that sits in the air and makes your skin itch. One morning I saw her in the kitchen, hair thrown up in a messy tie, eyes not quite on me, dark circles so bad I wanted to blame the school system, society, and capitalism just for variety. She grabbed a piece of toast and stared at it like the toast had personally offended her. "Did you sleep okay?" I asked. "Yeah." Too fast. Too flat. She glanced at her phone and I saw her cheek twitch. 1 second, then gone. But I noticed that second. What's going on?" "Nothing, Mom. I'm late. PE first period." She snatched her backpack and slipped out the door, and I stood there with my half-drunk coffee and that awful feeling like somebody left a window open in your brain and a cold draft is crawling straight through your nerves. A couple days later, Ms. Karen Peterson called, the teacher who had Emily in homeroom. "I don't want to scare you," she said, "but Emily's changed. Her grades dropped fast, she's missing assignments, she sits by herself. I tried to talk to her and she shuts down. I just think you should know." Those calls are the worst because nobody says the scary part out loud. They say changed, shuts down, I think. And what you hear is, your kid is sinking and you haven't even noticed yet. I thanked her, hung up, and went looking for Rob. Rob came home exhausted, like always. He's a construction supervisor, hard hat, concrete, schedules, and a never-ending parade of the timeline moved. "Rob," I said, "the school called. Emily's having problems." He didn't even look up from his phone. "Amanda, she's a teenager. That's normal." Normal is locking herself in her room. Normal is flinching at notifications. "You're spiraling. She just wants space. Stop hovering." He said it like teenagers were an IKEA manual. Step 1, don't touch it. Step 2, wait. Step 3, it'll fix itself. "I'm not hovering," I snapped. "I can feel something's wrong." "You can feel everything," he cut in. "You're sensitive." He said sensitive like it was a diagnosis that let him opt out of reality. Because if the problem is me, he doesn't have to look the truth in the face. And right around then, Tyler started showing up at our house. Rob's younger brother, freshly divorced. He's having a hard time. He needs support. He's family. Tyler was the kind of man who could look wounded on command, just wounded enough to get sympathy. Sad eyes, soft voice, tragic story, and always, too much presence. At first he stopped by for coffee, then he stayed for dinner. Then he developed this cute little habit of showing up without warning. One day I walked into the kitchen and saw an open bottle of bourbon on the table. My bourbon, the one I kept for a special occasion, because sometimes grown adults want to pretend they're in control of their lives.
"Oh, hey, Amanda,"
Tyler smiled.
"Rob said you wouldn't mind."
Of course. I'm a woman. I'm automatically fine with things I wasn't asked about. Rob came in behind him, cheerful.
"Tyler needs a distraction," he said. "We're not monsters."
There it was. If you object, you're a monster. Emily came downstairs for dinner, saw Tyler, and froze in the doorway. Her whole body went tight enough that even I could see it. "Hi," she said quietly.
"Hey, sweetheart,"
Tyler replied, way too warmly. "How's school?" Emily didn't answer. She sat, picked up her fork, like she was giving herself an order. Just survive this evening.
"Put your phone away,"
Rob said.
"That's rude."
Emily did it, and her face got even whiter. I watched her and thought, this isn't about manners. This is about safety. And Rob was the guy asking you to close a window while the house is on fire. That night, I went upstairs to check on Emily. I tried the doorknob. Locked. I knocked.
"Em? Everything okay?"
A pause. "Yeah. Night, Mom." I stood in the hallway trying to talk myself into teenage phase. But a mother's instinct is not hygienic. You can't switch it off. And the thought that came next made me want to bleach my brain. Emily isn't locking the door because of me. Emily is locking the door because of someone in this house. Tyler became part of our daily life so fast it was like he had a key. And honestly, I wouldn't have been shocked if he did. He brought groceries on his way. He took out the trash. He talked about how Sarah, his ex, ruined his life. And every story ended the exact same way, like a chorus in a bad song. "You're my only family." Rob melted every time. Because Rob was raised on this idea that a man keeps the family together. And apparently, in his head, family included a grown man with no concept of boundaries. One day, Tyler came by in the middle of the day when Rob was out on site. I was working from home. My spreadsheet was on fire, and I was not emotionally prepared for surprise therapy hour. Tyler walked into the kitchen like he lived there, poured himself water, and looked around like he was checking inventory.
"Hey,"
he said finally. "Rob told me Emily's laptop's lagging. Let me take a look. I know my stuff." Something in me clenched. "No, if it's acting up, we'll take it to a shop." He smiled. "That's money down the drain. I'm not some stranger. I'll do it for free. Family." And that's where the American horror movie starts, the one they turn into a streaming documentary. Because family is the most dangerous currency on earth. You pay with your safety and you never get change back. I called Rob, hoping he'd say no. Rob said, "Sure, let him look. He knows tech." So I handed Tyler Emily's laptop. Because sometimes the scariest person in the family isn't the one who shows up. It's the one who opens the door and says, "It's fine." After that, Emily got quieter. And every time her phone buzzed, her fingers twitched. I tried to catch a moment when Tyler wasn't hovering. He had this sick, perfect timing. He appeared exactly when I needed to talk to my kid. One morning I saw Emily on the stairs. She was gripping her phone like it might bite. "Emily, look at me." She lifted her eyes, and I saw something that breaks adults. Contained fear. "Mom, I'm fine," she said automatically. "No, you're not. You're locking your door. You're not eating. You flinch at messages. I'm not going to pretend this is a phase. Tell me what's happening." She inhaled. Her lips trembled. And then the front door opened. "Good morning," Tyler called, bright and cheerful. "Oh, you're both home. Perfect." Emily took a step back like someone shoved her. I'm going upstairs, she whispered, and she vanished. Tyler watched her go, then turned to me.
Tough age, he said. You just need patience.
He said it like I was a clueless mom, and he was the wise expert on other people's kids. I snapped. Tyler, why are you here all the time, without calling, without warning? For 1 second, his face went cold. Then the smile snapped back into place. Amanda, do you really think I'm in the way? I'm just trying to help. Rob's stressed. Emily's stressed. I can tell. I want things to be calm for you guys. Calm. He said that word like calm was something he would grant us if we behaved. Later, I tried Rob again. Rob, your brother is acting weird. Emily is scared of him. Rob sighed like I'd suggested we adopt a llama. Amanda, Emily just hates when adults interfere. Tyler's trying to connect. He's a good guy. A good guy doesn't show up uninvited and look at our daughter like she owes him something. Rob frowned. You're reaching. He's my brother. He's not okay right now. And what about Emily, Rob? Is she okay? He went quiet, and I realized it was easier for him to pity a grown man than admit something terrifying was happening to his daughter, because admitting it meant acting. Acting meant conflict. Conflict meant facing the fact that family isn't always a holy word. One evening, I heard Emily's voice through her door, quiet, shaky. She was on the phone. Jess, I can't. She whispered. I'm scared. No, I can't tell my dad. He won't believe me. He'll say I'm being dramatic. My throat tightened. I knocked. Emily? Silence. Em, open up. It's me. The lock clicked. The door cracked open. Emily stood there, phone hidden behind her back, eyes red. Mom, please, don't make me talk, she whispered. I could have done the right thing, gentle, calm, no pressure. But rage rose up in me. I'm not making you, I said. I'm asking, because I'm your mom, and I'm watching you disappear right in front of me. She trembled. I don't want Dad to hate you because of me. That line hit like a fist to the ribs. Because it was possible. Because it had already existed in our house, just wearing different words. I sat down beside her and took her hand. Emily, if someone is hurting you, it's not because of you. It's because of them. And Dad, he can be wrong, but he has to hear the truth. She opened her mouth to say more, and then Tyler's voice floated up from downstairs. Emily, come down here. I brought your favorite snacks. Emily flinched, and I knew it. This wasn't a rough patch. We had a predator in our home. We'd been promising to shop for her homecoming dress forever. We postponed twice. Every time Emily said, "It's fine, later." But I could tell she was clinging to that day like a tiny breath of normal. Saturday morning, I said, "Today, just you and me." Emily nodded too fast, like she was afraid I'd change my mind. We picked a big mall, the kind where you can buy everything in one trip and where crowds make you feel invisible. I told myself, with people around, she'll feel safer. Naive of me. There was no parking outside, so I drove into the garage. A concrete maze where every footstep echoes and the lighting makes everybody look gray. Emily sat with her phone in her hands, eyes darting over mirrors and lanes. You sure you want this place? I asked. Yeah, she said. It's okay. Her okay had become code for I'm holding it together with duct tape. Inside, under bright lights and noise, she actually loosened up. We even smiled. We ate fries in the food court, and for the first time in weeks, she told me something about school, short but real. I almost believed we were okay. Almost. Then she froze. Mom. Her voice went small. I thought I saw... I followed her gaze. A reflection in glass. A male figure. I turned fast. People, bags, noise. No one familiar. It was nothing, I said, way too confidently. He's at home. I said it like confidence could replace safety. Mistake number 1,000. We went into her favorite store. Music pretending life is easy. Employees smiling like their paychecks depend on your happiness. Maybe they did. Emily chose a navy dress. Beautiful. Simple. The kind of dress that says, I'm growing up, but I'm not auditioning for anyone's approval. I'm going to try it on, she said, and disappeared behind the curtain. I stood by the rack, flipping hangers, when the curtain snapped open. Emily stepped out pale, phone trembling in her hand. Mom? I looked at the screen. A message from Tyler. Navy blue looks amazing on you. Very elegant. Something inside me clicked off. The lights went out. Cold clarity moved in. We're leaving, I said. But the dress. We'll buy it. Now. Go. I barely remember paying. I just remember gripping her hand and pulling her through the crowd like the crowd might turn into water and drown us. Elevator down, parking level, concrete air. And then Emily said, Mom, turn your phone off. Right now. Mine too. What? Please, turn it off. He'll find us. I shut mine down. Emily killed hers too, hands shaking, screen going black. Quiet for 1 second, like we'd slammed a door on something. It was probably too late though. If he already had our last ping, the damage was done. We reached the car and Emily finally spoke. Fast, whispering, like the walls were listening. He put something on my laptop, she said. And then he had me install it on my phone too. Parental controls like protection from bad websites. He said Dad knew. And then he started messaging me from different accounts. On Instagram, sometimes just hi, sometimes threats. He sent photos outside my school, photos of our house. He wrote that he always knows where I am, and if I tell anyone, nobody will believe me, especially Dad. Rage rose so hard I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. Not there. Not now. Emily, I said quietly, you didn't do anything wrong. Do you understand me? She nodded, tears glassy in her eyes. And that's when I saw Tyler. He stood near a concrete pillar, maybe 100 feet away, phone in his hand, waving it slightly, like he was catching a signal. Then he lifted his head and looked straight at us. Found us. He walked toward the car slowly, calmly, confident, like a man who's always been given what he wants. Mom, Emily whispered. Please. I started the engine. The sound bounced off the concrete. Tyler sped up. I locked the doors. He was right there. He knocked on the window. His smile was stretched thin and mean. Open up. Let's talk. I threw the car into reverse. He stepped in front of the car and spread his arms like it was some dramatic "stop you misunderstood" scene. Only in our movie there was no soundtrack. Just concrete. And fear.
Amanda,
he yelled.
Don't do this. We're family.
Family? Sure. Family. The universal hall pass to ignore boundaries. I cut the wheel and shot into the next lane. Tires squealed. He ran beside the car and slapped the door. Emily screamed. I didn't even catch the words, just sound. In the mirror, I saw him sprinting for his car. He followed. At the exit, he tried to cut me off. Too close, too aggressive. I burst onto the street and, for the first time all day, I was grateful for chaos. Chaos makes it harder for predators. He still stayed on us. At one intersection, he tried to surge ahead and stop sideways. I jerked onto another road, one with people and cameras. I pulled into the parking lot of a roadside diner. Bright lights, big windows, strangers everywhere. Emily was crying with her hand over her mouth like she was afraid someone would hear. I turned my phone back on. Notifications hit like an avalanche. Missed calls from Rob, messages from unknown accounts, and one new text from Tyler, bold now. Don't do anything stupid. I just want to talk. I dialed 911. I kept my voice calm because panic doesn't help, and dispatch needs facts. Stalking, threats, a vehicle chase, attempted blocking, a minor involved, suspected digital tracking. Then I called Rob.
"Where are you?"
he demanded immediately.
"Tyler called. He said you two had a fight."
I inhaled. Rob, your brother is stalking Emily. He's tracking her. He installed something. He chased us. Tried to box us in. I called the police. A pause. Heavy. Sticky.
"Amanda, maybe you misunderstood,"
Rob said.
"Tyler, he's just worried."
I started shaking. Rob, do you hear yourself? Worried is crying on a couch. Worried is not texting "Navy looks great on you" while standing outside the fitting room. Silence. Emily will tell you everything, I said. If you give her a chance and don't jump to defending family. I heard him swallow.
"I'm coming,"
he said.
"Text me the address."
When Rob arrived, he looked into the car and saw Emily's face, and I watched his world crack. He opened the passenger door, dropped to a crouch, and hugged his daughter.
"I'm sorry, Em,"
he whispered.
"I'm sorry. I was an idiot."
Sometimes, I'm sorry sounds like a person waking up. I just wish it didn't take a nightmare. The patrol car showed up fast. Tyler, of course, was gone. Men like that disappear like shadows. They don't want reality. They want control. The officer took a basic report and told us to come to the precinct to file a formal statement. It wasn't the moment where the system rushes in to save you. It was the moment where the system says, "We need paperwork." The next day we sat on plastic chairs under a buzzing AC vent. Emily looked gray with exhaustion. Rob was tight as wire. I felt like I was being asked to prove I was drowning before anyone would throw a rope. At first the detective listened with that family drama face.
"Any physical harm?"
he asked. "No," I said. "But there are threats, tracking, a vehicle chase, messages." He nodded like it wasn't ideal, and then Emily pulled out her phone, opened the thread, showed him. The dress message, screenshots, photos outside her school, photos of our house, lines that made my fingers go cold. "I know where you are, and don't get smart." The detective's face changed. The boredom left. The focus arrived. Rob finally said what he should have said weeks earlier.
"He's my brother,"
Rob said.
"And, yeah,
he was at our house a lot. I let him. I thought he just needed support. But this isn't normal." He crossed a line. Sometimes, for the system to take it seriously, someone with authority has to confirm it's real. And in families, authority often means the man. It made me angry, but I used it. The detective gave us instructions. Save everything, don't delete, make copies, turn on two-factor authentication, secure accounts, don't respond to Tyler if he reaches out. He spoke like someone who's seen what "let's just talk" turns into. They called Tyler in for an interview. He denied everything, said I was hysterical, said Emily was manipulating, said he was just trying to help. And the nastiest part? He said it in the same soft tone he used when he talked about being our only family. They let him go. For now. Those days were the worst. Because he knew we'd gone to the police. And people like him hate it when their toys find a voice. We changed the locks. Rob installed cameras by the front door. I drove Emily to school and picked her up like we lived in a war zone instead of a cul-de-sac with holiday wreaths and live, laugh, love signs. Emily jumped at every notification, even on a brand new phone. Because fear doesn't update just because you upgraded the hardware. A few days later, the detective called.
"We got a search warrant,"
he said, and I exhaled like I'd been holding my breath since the moment Emily first went quiet. When they pulled Tyler's devices, everything got worse. And, at the same time, everything finally made sense to the system. Worse, because there was so much. Better, because now it wasn't a worried mom and a family misunderstanding. It was evidence. They found the tracking software. They found hundreds of photos. They found a file. His little journal. Roots. My work hours. Emily's schedule, and the floor plan of our house pulled from the builder's website, with notes, actual notes, about who slept where. I sat at my kitchen table staring at that list and realized, if we'd waited another month? No, I'm not even finishing that thought. That's when Tyler got arrested for real. The court issued an emergency no-contact order, not please don't, not let's be civil, a real, enforceable, stay away and shut up. No, I was just driving by. No, I just wanted to talk. No, but we're family. Rob looked like someone had smashed his entire identity and handed it back in pieces. He met with attorneys, answered questions, signed paperwork, and every night he came home quieter, older, more hollow. One night he sat on the edge of our bed and said, "I let him in. I actually let him in." And I didn't rush to comfort him. Not because I'm cruel, because sometimes a person needs to feel the weight of what they did so they never do it again. A week later, I booked family therapy with Dr. Julia Bennett. Rob tried to resist. "We can handle this ourselves." "We already handled it ourselves," I told him, "all the way to tracking and a car chase. Now we handle it like adults." The first session was awful. I talked about fear and rage. Emily stared at the carpet like the carpet was safer than any adult in the room, and then Rob said, staring at his hands, "I called Amanda paranoid, and she saw it. She saw it early. I just wanted it to be simple. I wanted it to be a family issue that blows over. Because if I admit my brother is dangerous, that means I've been wrong for a long time." Dr. Bennett's voice was calm, not gentle. Calm like a scalpel. "Being wrong isn't the danger," she said. "Staying wrong after you've seen the damage. That's the danger." Emily finally lifted her eyes. "I stayed quiet," she said softly, "because I thought Dad would believe Tyler. Dad always believed Tyler." Rob covered his face with his hands. And that wasn't the ending. That was the beginning. Spring in the suburbs smells like wet dirt and someone else's barbecue. We were driving, and Emily sat beside me, quiet, but not the scary kind of quiet. This was rebuilding. "How was your session?" I asked. "Okay," she said, and she smiled. "I'm learning how to say no without feeling guilty. Apparently it's a skill, not a personality trait." We all changed. The district attorney's office didn't do the whole primetime courtroom drama with a jury. The case moved through an agreement that mattered more than a spectacle. Tyler got a court-ordered psychiatric evaluation, mandatory treatment, strict supervision, and the no-contact order stayed in place. No closeness, no messages, no, "I miss you," no, "let's just talk." He moved to another city with distant relatives, and honestly, that distance was better than any version of justice I'd imagined. Rob sometimes texts from the grocery store. "Should I buy chicken I'll burn, or should I just grab charcoal and save time?" Emily laughs, and her laugh is the only victory I care about. We pulled up to that same mall, and I noticed my heart wasn't pounding. It was just beating. Like it's supposed to. "Today, no garage," I said. "Obviously," Emily replied. I don't have to prove I'm brave by walking into traps. We got out, and she took my hand first. Mom, she said quietly, thank you for believing me. Right away. Well, almost right away. But you believed me. I swallowed. I should have done it sooner, I admitted. I should have ripped him out of our house the day I saw your face change around him. You did rip him out, Emily said. That's what matters. We walked inside. Bright lights, noise, normal life. And I kept thinking about the scariest part of all of this. Not the chase, not the tracking. The fact that my child stayed silent for months because she was sure her own father would say, "We're family first." And only after that, "I believe you." Now, the order is different. And that is the only thing in this story I'll call actual salvation. Thanks for spending your time with me. If you want more stories like this, hit subscribe and give this video a like. And don't be shy, leave a comment. Your support means a lot. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.